inside of you, and the fiend that you are hiding to. Oh, be kind. Feed the poor and lonesome man in your own soul. Love him till he's been made whole. Feed the poor and be at peace with the enemy in your own home. Neither you nor he can throw a stone. So be at peace. I'll be good to the criminal you locked away, that sinful man you learned to hate. Oh, be
It's the most wonderful time of the year. That's right, everybody. It's the fall. Welcome to The Gathering. I'm Dave Merrill.
I'm Brittany Radford.
And this is the pregame show where we just sit down, hang out with you all before the service, tell you about some cool stuff that's going on, and become friends.
I like that idea.
Yeah, me too. I think it's awesome. But speaking of fall, Brittany, I'm curious, and you out there as well, what's your favorite thing about fall? Well, first of all, do you like fall?
I love fall.
I think we established that we both love fall. But what is it about fall that you love?
For me, it's like the scent in the air and the leaves is just so bright, especially the red trees. Like, it's just amazing.
I do love a red tree.
Yes,
I'm not gonna lie.
it does something to me.
I don't like the bright, though. I'm a fan of dark and cold, and I'm also okay with the rain during the season.
No, sir.
I've always wanted to live in Seattle, and it just feels like I'm home.
Why?
It's just great. Anyway.
Okay.
Tell us what you guys think. What do you guys think about fall? Put it over in the chat. Communicate with us. Let us know. And then if you're new.
Right. If you're new, folks, we want you to fill out a Connect card. Each week we mention a Connect card. It's just a good way for us to know about you. And you can just do it through the chat, or you can just also connect through the Connect card.
That's right. The Connect card you can find it over in the app as well. If you're watching on demand, watching later, we get that. So just click below. What happens when we do that, folks, is we get back to you and we say, hey, we introduce you to some stuff about the church. We become friends, and all is good and gravy. It's going to be really cool. But let's go to a serious question, because every week we have a question that we usually ask and we kind of process with each other, and I want to hear from them as well. This whole series Open. This is the final week of Open. And I'm curious, what is your biggest hurdle to being open? Like, what's the biggest thing you have to overcome before you have a generous spirit? Or in any situation, it doesn't have to be generosity, but what do you have to think about or pause when you're being open?
That's tough. I think for me, it's myself. Like, I constantly think I need to figure it all out and know the answer. And I'm learning that once you have the heart to be open, transformative things happen, which is crazy for me.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I like that too. For me, I'm less open if I don't believe in it.
Facts.
Right? Like,
me
so
too.
if I don't believe in it, I'm like, I don't know, it's sketchy. But what I find here at the Gathering is that, like, I believe in this thing.
I do. Yes. Yes.
It's tiring. It's exhausting at times. But, man, I believe that we're really inviting new people in.
Yes.
And so it's easy for me to be open here. How about you guys? What's your biggest hurdle to being open? And as you guys are thinking about that, let us tell you about some stuff that's going down. Most of it, 100% of it can be found in the Gathering app.
Yes.
If you don't have that, Gathering STL in any major app store. But a huge one that is dropping tomorrow, folks. Okay, Pastor Matt's been talking about innovation. He's been talking about all those things.
Technology.
But innovation. Tomorrow, we are launching the Gathering's new family of podcasts called The Hub.
Yes.
That's right. We have a whole, not just one, not two, not three. We have like 6 podcasts dropping tomorrow.
Sheesh.
Some of them for prayer, some of them for devotion, some of them for kids, some of them just to start the conversation. Matt's F word is now part of that. The students skip the snooze is part of it. And it's all starting tomorrow in the Gathering app.
I'm
excited.
When
you open the app tomorrow, it's going to look a lot different. And you're going to see all these shows. Here's what I want to invite you to do, because I'm a little selfish. Listen to Sleeping on Sunday. That's me and my man Jeff back here. Jeff, give a shout out. There he is. We start the conversation, and it's all about rest in this week. So I want you guys to check it out. It's going to be awesome. But there's other great stuff in the app, too.
There is. We actually have some upcoming events. We're having a movie night on December 4th, which I'm excited about. Who doesn't like a good movie?
Can I come to that?
Yes.
Everyone comes to that?
Yes.
Oh, everyone can come to that.
What? What type of question is that? We invite everybody.
There's like a kid. Oh, yeah, I've heard about this. So Mark was telling me. So there's like a kid movie, and then there's an adult movie. There's 2 movies back to back, and you can come to them and sit in your car and watch them. But you got to register, because there's only so many spaces out there. So make sure you get on the app and register for that under the upcoming events. There's also
there's beer and carols.
Beer and carols. Now, that's for a specific audience.
That's for no kids. I think that is for anyone that's adults in the church.
Young adults?
Young adults, particularly.
I can't come to that.
No, because you're not a young adult. I don't know if I qualify.
Well, I bet if you showed up, you'd pass.
Okay.
That's what I think would happen. Finally, guys, the last thing I want to tell you about in that app is there's going to be a commitment form that happens today during Matt's sermon. He's going to talk about the commitment form, about submitting it. And if you're out there and you're like, hey, I want to participate and do this, the commitment form is in the app. Just go in there and click on it. You're going to see the commitment form under Give, I believe. You'll find it either way. And that's a way for you to submit that commitment to the church and say that I am in for this open series and what we're doing in the next couple coming years. So I hope you guys check that out during worship as well. Did I talk about Giving Tree? Have we talked about the
You
Giving Tree?
haven't? No.
We have not yet.
So for the Giving Tree, it is an opportunity for you to be able to help those that aren't able to purchase gifts, and you actually can do it through the app. As you know, we love the app. You can do everything that is intentional. So just go to Give and select Giving Tree, and then be able to support what we're doing here at the Gathering.
That's right. All right, guys, it's time to go into worship. It's going to be a great day. I mean, this day sets the precedent for the next couple years for our church.
Yeah.
And so I hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you participate. This is one where I really think that we can make a difference in our city and beyond. So I hope you guys do that. Don't forget that, as always, we have communion later in the service. So get that bread, that juice ready, and we'll see you on the other side of the service at post game. Enjoy.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind. Till you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. Yeah, you have been so, so good to me. Yeah, when I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah.
It's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me.
There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me.
There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me.
There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99.
I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it.
Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
God, thank you for this reminder today that no matter how far we stray and no matter how long it's been, you invite us to draw near to you. God, you come after us in a way that is redemptive, in a way that is loving, in a way that says, draw near and be a part of something greater. experience this community and this love once again. So God, we know it's been a tough year. We know church habits have been weird and strange and changed over the last few months. And we know that you still call us to enter into your love and enter into worship with you. So we thank you for that opportunity today. Our hearts are full of gratitude. And God, we praise you with all that we've got. Amen.
Hi, and thank you so much for worshiping today. So today is a big day in the life of the Gathering as we end our Open series. Today is the day when we're going to have an opportunity to make a commitment, to give, and to be a part of what God is doing in this church in the future. And this whole time, this whole series, I've been preaching about being open to God, open to growing in our generosity, to be part of what God is doing in our midst. Last week, I asked us to be open to what God might want to do with our church as we talked about vision. And today is the day where we have like a decisional moment. This moment where I'm going to ask you to make that commitment, to be part of what God is doing here at the church. But first, before we get there, I want to share a story with you, because I know that for me, every time I have a big decision to make in my life, it's always like a mixture of promise and risk. And I don't know if it ever feels like that to you, but every time I do something big, it's a mixture of promise and potential, but also risk and even a little bit of fear. And so there's a story that always comes to mind for me when I have a big decision to make in my own life. And this story comes from the Old Testament, and some of you maybe are familiar with it if you've been around church for a while. But let me just set the context for it. The Israelites had been wandering in the desert, the wilderness, for 40 years. God had led them out of Egypt. God wanted to take them to a promised land. It was named that for a reason, because it was full of possibility, of potential. God was going to do all sorts of new things with them. But of course, it came with uncertainty, and it came with some amount of risk. And what the Bible tells us is that for 40 years, they kind of roamed around in the wilderness, never quite having the courage to cross over into that land. Well, fast forward, and the story that I want to share, it comes from the first chapter of the book of Joshua. And now the Israelites have all died, that first generation, and now it's their kids. And these are kids that were born and raised in the wilderness. They watched their parents roam around for all that time. And here they are now standing on the banks of the Jordan River. They have a new leader. That leader's name is Joshua. And they're on the banks of the Jordan River, and the Jordan River just literally separates the wilderness from the promised land. And they can see across to the land that God had promised them. And they look over, and they have this decision that they have to make. On the other side is all of those things that God wants for them. It's a land that's going to be their own. It's a land where they get to establish a nation. It's a land from which they get to be a light to the nations, a blessing to other people. But it also comes with that same uncertainty, that same risk, some of that same fear. And so as they stand there, they have this decision to make. But before they do, God speaks a word to them. And it's a word that I want to share with you, because it's one that I often repeat to myself anytime I have a big decision to make. And it's this. It comes in Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. God says to them, "I hereby command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. The story is a really beautiful one because after God shares these words with them, those Israelites together do what their ancestors never could. They go into the promised land. And once they get there, they find out that it is everything that God said it would be. It's blessing, it's abundance, it's a land full of potential and possibility. And there would be challenges, to be sure. They would mess up at times and God would have to forgive them. But they ended up becoming everything that God wanted them to become. But first, on that day, they had to cross the river. They had to cross the river. And crossing the river always feels risky. It at the time must have felt scary to them. I think about that story because I think today is a day when our church is standing at a riverbanks of sorts. I think on the other side, there are all sorts of possibilities and potentials, blessings for us and ways that God wants to use our church to bless other people around us. I think that in the future, there is a church here where we're going to experience, love and challenge and adventure and restoration and forgiveness and literally miracles for our lives, and we get to be part of being a miracle in the life of other people. God is going to do incredible things with the gathering. But first, we have to take a risk together. First, we have to sort of collectively step out in faith. First, we have to be open to God doing something new with our lives. First, we have to cross the river. We have to be willing to risk something. As I look back at the gathering, in so many ways, our history has really been like a series of riverbank moments. I look back on it. I remember, starting the church, and I've shared this often, but 15 years ago, there was nothing. We couldn't really see anything, but there were 40 people that I asked to make a decision to commit their time, their energy, even their money to something that they couldn't see yet, but they did. They had the courage to do it, and our church was born. I remember 11 years ago, the first time I sat around with some leaders, and I asked them to give away the biggest offering we take every year, which is the Christmas Eve offering. Let's give that away to do something more significant with it, to dig wells for clean water in Mozambique. And I remember that small group of people making a decision to do something really sacrificial for our church, but the result was the first 3 of what would become 175 wells that provided clean water to literally hundreds of thousands of people. But it required a step of trust and faith. Whatever site you go to, whether it's Webster or Clayton or McCausland, or even if you worship online, there have been various times when I've asked people to envision something that wasn't quite here yet and to take a step to give something of themselves and their money and their time and their energy to bring something into existence. And we've gotten to see in each of those cases God do something extraordinary when we were willing to take a step. I think about so many of you just on a personal level. Times when God has kind of challenged you to maybe try out church or come to worship or risk sharing your story or joining a core group or beginning to serve. All those times when you've said yes to that challenge of taking a risk and stepping out, and God has done extraordinary things in your life because of it. Vision becomes reality when we say yes. At so many points in our history, God has invited our church to sort of cross a river, and every single time, God has done something extraordinary on the other side of that. So often, I have gotten to see this church together look at a vision, look at a challenge that comes, yes, with risk and some fear and a certain amount of uncertainty, and nonetheless be willing to step out in faith. Be willing to give something of themselves and what they have and money and resources and time And we've gotten to see God do new things in our midst over and over and over again. And I think today is another one of those riverbank moments. 10 days ago, I invited people who serve in our church, anywhere, people who serve and are leaders in different capacities, to come early, to make a commitment early. This is a tradition that goes all the way back to King David, actually, of leaders in a church being willing to go first, being willing to make a commitment first on behalf of the whole congregation or the whole assembly. And that's exactly what I did. We had about 60, 70 people who were gathered, and I asked them to make a commitment first. And I was talking with them about their stories. We heard testimonies. And what I wanted to do is actually show you some of their commitments. Not so much for you to see the numbers, although I want to show you the numbers, but so you can see sort of what's going on in the lives of people who are making these kinds of decisions. For example, here's a card from a young woman who found our church actually first online, started attending in person, But this is a person who finally, at the gathering, found a church that would welcome her and her partner when so many others would not or rejected. And she has this deep desire to offer to others what she has found so powerful in her own life. And I look at the generosity expressed in that card, a 400% increase over what she was giving before, because she so deeply believes in what's happening here. It's just an overwhelming act of generosity. Here's a second card from a young couple that just finished grad school, just beginning work, just got married. And so I know what that entails with student loans and a wedding, and yet they believe deeply in what's happening at this church, and they wanted to make a gift that represents where they are now in life and what they believe is possible here at the gathering. It's this just extraordinary step of faith to grow in generosity. I want to show you this third card, and to me this is absolutely incredible. Two people who have doubled their giving. They even are giving a stored resource, $2,000. They want to make a commitment to give to this church. But here's the incredible thing about it. This is a couple that before open has never been to a physical location of the gathering. They found the church completely online. They found it because it's a church that's evangelical, that believes in Jesus, but is also inclusive. And where they live, they did not have that kind of a church available to them. And this church has been their church. They deeply believe in it, but not only that, they want to see other people who don't have a church in their area that is evangelical but also welcoming and inclusive. They want that to be available to others, and they make this extraordinarily generous gift to be a part of that future. It's so honoring and incredible to me. And then the last card I want to show you is a really generous gift from a couple that started attending the gathering just a couple years before the pandemic, but again, found in this church an exciting vision, a church that loves Jesus, but a church that welcomes others. And they just told me that they believe in what God is doing at the gathering. And they wanted to give a gift that showed that. It's an extraordinary act of generosity. And I show you these cards, I really show them to you so that you know that behind every act of giving is a story. It's a hope. It's a belief about what God can do in our church. It comes, yes, with a risk. It comes with uncertainty. But it comes with a deep belief about what God can do. These cards are just also a reminder that we don't take this step alone, that God is calling us to all take this sort of a step together. You know, after that event, I invited some people. These are different people from those cards that I used, but people to just share why. You know, why are they committing to give? What is it that they're excited about here at the gathering? I thought it might be fun for you to hear just from some of the other people who are making this decision with you. Check this out.
Open to the possibilities when I make a contribution to the gathering that will help me and others.
What
What excites me about the future of the gathering is that we're going to be able to reach more and more people in our own community with programs and help in bringing them closer to Jesus.
So what excites me the most about the gathering is in a world where people are using the name of God to hurt, the gathering is providing the opportunity to heal. There are a lot of different ways and a lot of different exciting things, but we don't need to be outside of Jesus to heal religious trauma. We can do it right here.
I've decided to commit to open because I've seen firsthand what the gathering has done in the lives of others. I've gone to Mozambique twice, and to see what our gifts are doing, even around the world, providing safe water to those kids is something I can't get out of my head, and that's why I'm committed.
I feel God calling me to be open to helping others that I haven't even met yet, creating space in new ways to bring in people that are hurting and need a community to be there for them, and that's what I want to be a part of.
I decided to commit to opening because the gathering has given me a place that I feel that I belong, along with a lot of my good friends, and I'm so happy to be here and continue to worship and see the gathering grow.
I felt God calling me to be open, to give financially, consistently on a monthly basis.
This initiative is really important to me because the next generation is my children. So I am working on creating space for how I fit into this church as a mom of the next generation that is being spoken about through this initiative.
Friends, I want to tell you why my wife Jess and I are personally excited. Excited so much that we're giving the largest gift we've ever given to the church. And I want to read it to make sure I get it right, because I thought about this. I want people to know that they're loved by God and that they can live bigger and more purposeful lives in Jesus Christ. I want people to know that Jesus welcomes them and loves them and doesn't reject them. I want to build a church that invites people instead of building up barriers that keep people away. I want to be part of caring for struggling people and help those that are hurting, especially right now at a time when I think our world is so full of hurt. I want people to know that they don't have to struggle alone. I want to be a small part of God, changing lives in Jesus Christ and offering hope to people at a time when hope is so desperately needed. And that's why Jess and I are giving. That's why we're making a gift that stretches us. I want to use wisely and in meaningful ways what God has given me to share the hope of Christ with others, because it's so changed my life. And I think God is going to do that. We're going to get to experience it together. Vision becomes reality when we say yes. So friends, today I want to invite all of you that love the gathering to take this step with me, to make a commitment to give and to give generously. I know so many of you worshiping online, maybe some of you have worshiped with us in the past. Maybe you've never been in person at all in the past, but you know the power that this community has in your own life, and we want to see that offered for others. And so I just want to speak plainly for just a minute before you make this commitment. I hope that you give joyfully, not out of a sense of duty or obligation or guilt or anything like that, but just give out of a sense of gratitude for what Christ has done in your life and what you want to see Christ do for others. I hope you will give generously. And what I mean by that is I really hope that you'll give a gift that matters to you, a gift that might change your life in some perceivable way, a gift that might require you to change. I hope you really give in a way that will require you to grow. And then finally, I hope it's just the first step in you being more open to God doing something new in your life this season. Maybe offering more of who you are to God and following that nudge that God has in your life. So So for those of you worshiping online, there's a link that you can click if you're worshiping online live, and you can fill this card out right here online. There's also on the app, if you go there at the very top where it says open, you can click on that and it will open up an online version of the card. If you have any problems with this, just reach out to Dave Merrill or to me personally, and we can answer any of your questions. But in just a moment, we're going to celebrate communion, and in the song that follows, I invite you to make a commitment. I invite you to open up that link or go to the app and to fill out that card. And when you pull it up, you're going to see a few things. That first line is just what you currently give to the gathering, if you currently give. And this includes everything, your normal giving, Christmas Eve and Easter offering, all of that. The next line is the growth step. This is where we're stretching to give more to help realize this vision. And you add that up and multiply it by 2, because this is a 2-year commitment that we're asking you to make. And then finally, there's that stored resource line. And this is something that you might have that has value, but that you really don't need or really don't use. It could be something as big as land or a car or something like that, to something small that you might decide, now's the time when I can actually get rid of that in my life and use this money for something more meaningful and more significant. I invite you to think about that. And then finally at the bottom, just put your grand total. And we'll begin giving this gift in December 5th, first weekend in December. You can start giving weekly, monthly, however it is that you like to give. But friends, I want to thank you so much for being part of this ministry, online or in person. And now we're at another one of those riverbank moments. We're all here together. There's so much promise, so much potential, and I can't wait to see what God is going to do with our church. But first, it requires a step. And sure, it comes with some risk, maybe uncertainty, a certain amount of fear. But it also comes with tremendous blessing. So in the time that follows, communion and the song after, I invite you to fill out your card, make that commitment. And as you do, I just want to close this time with those same words that God spoke so long ago to Joshua and all those Israelites when they had to make that decision for themselves. I hereby command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Amen.
I'm excited, you guys. The thought of people out there like you devoted to the vision of our church and making commitments to invest in the work of Jesus through the gathering is incredible to me. If you made a commitment today and you filled out that form, thank you so much for doing that. And if you're new and you're not quite ready to make that commitment, we completely understand. And I just want you to know that Christ has done unbelievable things through our church over the years. And I believe that our shared commitment to the vision is going to help so many more people become committed followers of Christ. This is a community of people led by the Spirit to invite others in. So if you're on the brink of committing, I hope you come to find all of that's true and that you join in. To thank God for the mighty work that God has done in and through us, let's take a moment to celebrate communion now. So grab your bread and your juice, and let's imagine the possibilities of a life fully committed to following Jesus. Let's imagine what's possible, and then let us give thanks for all the ways in which God has provided for us from the moment we were created in God's image, and He's going to continue to invest in us throughout the end of time. I invite you now to take some bread and to just remember that Jesus shared a meal of bread with His friends, and He said to them, "Take, eat. This is my body which is given for you." And as you eat this bread, just simply remember that it's the gift of my body broken for you. I also invite you all to remember and to take this glass of wine or juice and remember that Jesus said to His disciples, He said, "Drink from this, all of you. This is the blood of the new covenant poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins." My friends, these are the gifts of God ready to be received by anyone who is open to them. They are for us the body and the blood of Christ, that we might be the body of Christ, redeemed by His blood. Over this next song, I want to invite you to receive this holy meal. to create space to dream of what's possible, and remember the generosity of God in your life thus far. Let us share in that meal now.
The riches of this world will fade. The treasures of our God remain. Here I empty myself to owe this world nothing. Find everything in you. The riches of this world will fade. The treasures of our God remain. Here I empty myself to owe this world nothing and find everything in you. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender all to you. Take my life a sacrifice, and you alone I'm satisfied. Here I empty myself to owe this world nothing. Find everything in you. Everything in you. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender all to you. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender all to you. Not my will, yours be done, not my strength, yours alone, nothing else. You, oh Lord, oh, I find everything in you. Not my will, yours be done, not my strength. Yours alone, nothing else. You, oh Lord, oh, I find everything in you. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender all to you.
That I'm just excited.
I'm beyond excited too.
We can't see everyone, obviously.
We can't.
But I know in my heart of hearts that there's people out there all over St. Louis and all over the nation, all over the world, committing to the gathering.
Yes.
And being open to this idea that we can make an impact in the world through our gifts, and we can change our own lives through it. And I'm just grateful. If that was you and you're participating, or if you're thinking about it, guys, this is going to be a great season, and we're looking forward to it. You feel that same way?
I'm in agreement. Right now, I just feel like there's this new thing that's happening, and a lot of people are being able to join in on that, which makes me excited.
Yeah, in a season where I thought the church would be losing, not our church, just the church at large, we're not.
It's a tough, yes.
We're winning. So many new people are coming. I wish you guys could see that. We get to see it. We'll keep sharing those stories of all that stuff that's happening. So don't forget that you can we give every week. And so all the ways to give are up on the screen. You can see that there. And we just invite you to participate in that. It's going to change you. It's going to change the world. Thank you all. You're such an awesome community. Before we go, we have a couple things to remind you about. But before we do that, we have a new series coming. It's our Advent series. I'm really excited about it.
Me too.
Check this out. Oh,
snaps. That is dope. Funny?
Good news is coming, folks. And the person that debuted in that video is our new young adult pastor.
Yes.
Pastor Matt said we're going to invest in new generations. That is Maddie Denton. She's our new young adult pastor.
She's amazing.
Really cool. You guys got to get to meet her. And you got to take lessons in French horn from her here. I heard she's amazing at the French horn.
Right.
So you got to check that out.
Unlike anything I've ever heard before.
That's right. It's going to be a really great season, guys. We have been going through a couple of years where it's just been challenging. It's been difficult. And we thought, what do we need this Christmas season? We need some good news. It's just time. A few things about the app before you guys go. Don't forget that tomorrow,
yes,
launching. We're super excited about it around here. Hey, listen to it. Let us know what you think.
Right.
Tell us how bad we are, how good we are.
Chat with us.
Wait, just let us know. You can, chat with us. Put it in the pregame and the messages over there. Also, don't forget that commitment card that you guys were asked to submit today. You can submit that over the next 2 weeks through the app. Okay, so it's not, you don't have to do it today, which we hope you do.
Right.
But over the next 2 weeks, that's going to be open and available, so you guys can still check that out. And then finally,
for our new folks, we're going to say this again. Please fill out the Connect card. We really want to connect with you and just hear your story. So check us out.
That's right. We're all about inviting new people in, and if that's you, it's our heart and our ministry to say we want to welcome you, become your friends, and help you get connected to this church. So please, please, please check, fill out that Connect card. Don't forget the giving tree, friends. Yeah. Quick word about that giving tree. We ran out of ornaments because of you all, and so we refilled it. There's more. There's more kids out there and more families out there that need our help. So go get those right now. I think that's all we have for this week.
I think that is.
Invite your friends, invite your families to this Advent series of good news. It's going to be epic, as you saw by the video.
Yes,
it's
very epic.
And then, friends, I hope you go forth in this week with hearts just filled with thanksgiving. May God's Spirit lead you and guide you all throughout the week. Take care.